What's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning. So let's just do this Justin Tucker thing and be done with him. Hopefully, the Ravens are done with him by the time I'm recording. Like, get him off the team, get him out of the city. I don't want to think about him anymore. I thought I was going to have an opinion on Tucker after I listened to Harbaugh and DeCosta's press conference, but I actually was a blessing yesterday because as I'm going through all this stuff, my algorithm was speaking to me, and Julie Brina, I think is how you pronounce her name, and Justin, the three reporters from the Baltimore Banner, all appeared on the Dan Le Batard show with Stu Gotch yesterday for about 20 minutes to share their account of how this story came about. I would challenge anybody, man, woman, 13-year-old kid, 79-year-old woman, like whatever you want to, whoever you are, there is a 0% chance you're going to watch that interview, those 20 minutes, and listening to those reporters, and then come back and be like, you know what? I don't think Justin Tucker did anything wrong. I just don't think he did anything wrong. Like, it's impossible. It would be impossible. It's intellectually dishonest. Domestic violence cases are up for debate. There's a history of a relationship. There's a million things, right? When we see a domestic violence case where you have to, I guess, be open-minded to what led up to it. Doesn't mean you excuse it, but there's nuance. So I'm sensitive to that, and I think most people, reasonable people, are sensitive to that. This isn't domestic violence. This isn't nothing like that. This isn't rape. This isn't some extreme penalty where Justin Tucker is going to go to jail for 20 years. Even if the statute of limitations wasn't gone, which it is in this stuff. Brina said it yesterday. I believe it was her that said it to Le Batard, which is, I don't know exactly what this charge would be. Like charging him for being an asshole? Like, because when you listen, and I'm going to go through some of these details, Justin Tucker's a real piece of shit. Like a 1,000% piece of shit, because he walked that line. Reminds me of some of these fucking kids that I coach where they walk right up to the line before they get in trouble. And for Tucker, he took it literally as far as you can possibly take it without what seemed like the massage therapist having to call, the police in the middle of the session and scream help. It was seductive. It was manipulative. It was disgusting. And the reason why I feel like I'm an expert on this because I'm not exaggerating. I've had over 500 massages, probably close to 3,000 massages. My pre-married life, I used to live in LA and Vegas. I used to stay at casinos all the time. I have been to high-end spas. I paid over $400 for a massage. And the pre-married life, but regardless, there's other places that offer different services that are called massage. Let's just be honest with each other. If that's what you want, if that's what you need, there are plenty of places to go for that. Plenty of places. And not only that, but again, another taboo topic, there are plenty of women that want to provide those services for an exchange of income, a transaction, whatever. I don't feel like talking about this stuff, but my point is, if Justin Tucker has an issue, he has a problem, he has a need, whatever he wants to justify in his mind, go do it with somebody that's a willing participant, somebody that you agreed to ahead of time on what the situation was, and act like a fucking man. Don't do what he did, because to me, there's nothing worse when you have somebody who is busting their ass to get a job and is working their hardest, happens to be attractive, and works at a job where customer service can be mistaken for flirtation. The easiest comparison to this, because not everybody's gotten a massage, but everybody's been to a nice restaurant, right? And that waitress or that waiter that is seemingly flirting with you is not asking you to slap their ass, is not asking you to leave your phone number. Like, that stuff is so pathetic. Like, they're working. I've been a high school basketball coach. Now I've been almost 10 years. I've been in high schools. I can't tell you how many young kids that I've met that want to be physical therapists. that it's a very common transition for athletes who aren't going to make it to get into physical therapy. My point is, if you make it to these wellness spas that Justin Tucker went to, that the amount of money that he had to pay for that massage, those women that are providing that service had to work really hard to get there. Really hard. Those are high end spas. It is challenging to go to school. It's challenge. You try giving somebody a massage for an hour, 90 minutes straight. It's not easy. Number one, and then number two, you are already, no matter how much school you go to, no matter how many of the mentors tell you that this is going to happen, you are trying your best to say, you know what, maybe I won't be the victim of it. Maybe this won't happen to me. Meaning guys are going to flirt with you, unfortunately. Now, to what level do they cross? I don't know. It depends. And it's really tough position for a masseuse to be in, going into it knowing I might get a customer or two that crosses the line. How am I supposed to handle it? So they have all this training. They know what they're supposed to do. And the most disturbing thing about the reporting is that Tucker sought out young masseuses, ones that felt more powerless, that didn't feel like they could talk or complain. Remember, there's not cameras in there. I mean, I say remember, like, most people haven't necessarily gotten a professional massage. There's no cameras in there. It's your word versus her word versus your word. And that's what's so egregious about Tucker is he knew that. He basically did everything you could to have the deniability. That's why he feels so comfortable having his lawyer put out that statement, because he could talk around everything. So the allegations of him moving, I don't want to get too much into it, but there's really no other way to talk about it besides getting into it. The allegations. So here's the thing. When you're getting a massage, you are, what's the right way of phrasing this? Not only are you completely naked, but you can move yourself around to create a situation that would make the masseuse uncomfortable. It's not hard to imagine what that would be. You listened to Julie talk about it in detail yesterday, and it's ridiculous. It takes a lot for me not to just say fuck the Ravens, because DaCosta and Harbaugh yesterday really pissed me off. They're knowing that they have access to these reporters, and these reporters tried to talk to them, and they're still waiting for the NFL to do an investigation. There's no investigation. The guy's a complete asshole. Like, think about what's happening. Nobody's trying to make any money off of him. Nobody. There's no, like, just think about that for a second. Nobody's trying to make money off of him. So where's the conspiracy? That the Baltimore Banner is using this and they're making all this up to do what? To push themselves over the top as a news organization? I mean, that's a stretch. If that's the path you want to go down, then, you probably thought that, let me stop. It's ignorant. It's stupid. You probably have preconceived notions about the news media lying to you, which they do all the time. This is the Baltimore Banner, for God's sakes. Like, look at the bio of these people. Go just look at their Twitter. Like, look at them. Like, these are just honest. I mean, I have a hard time with anybody who's like, you know what? I think the Banner's exaggerating here. I think they made it up. It's like, are you listening? Just watch the interview yesterday, right? Because I'm not playing, I didn't come to this conclusion until I heard the three reporters talk yesterday. Thought Harbaugh and DaCosta would give me some clarity. They didn't. But Le Batard, good for him for bringing them on. ESPN doesn't have him on. Fox Sports doesn't have him on. NBC doesn't have him on. CBS doesn't have him on. These gigantic corporations that are all in bed with the NFL, no. Le Batard show, it's an independent. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of him or his show, but it's an independent media company, and this is a open and shut case. There's no gray area. There's too many masseuses. There's no motive besides sharing with people the struggle so we can make this a better situation for future massage therapists. Like, this isn't, oh, I want to get Justin Tucker. They could have got Justin Tucker for a long time now. This is a couple of Ravens fans that are friends with Justin from the Banner. According to Justin, I don't have any reason to think that he's just making this up. Do I think that he shared every detail yesterday? No. Do I blame him? No. But he gets a phone call because a few people are talking about these allegations with Tucker. If they weren't there, or if there was only one masseuse, then yeah, we can talk about the gray area. We can go back to the analogy of domestic violence, where it's one woman, one instance, and I need to know more because I'm not willing to just believe the woman because she's a woman. Like, I get that. This is not that case. There's way too many people. There's way too specific details. And then it's I think the thing that really pisses me off the most is this is an open and shut case for the Ravens. So what I mean by that is, I think if this is a couple of years ago, from a football standpoint, the Ravens are going to try to find other evidence, maybe, or justify it, or I don't know. I know you can make a lot of money with this jackass off the field for the next 20 years. I mean, when I first started dating my wife, she literally did not know any other Ravens besides Justin Tucker and Joe Flacco. And I don't know, I think she knew Tucker more than Flacco. So do I understand the business of it? It's not that, oh, the Ravens can't afford to lose Justin Tucker for next year. He fucking sucks anyway. Fuck Justin Tucker. He shouldn't have fucking yelled at Mahomes and Kelsey at the AFC Championship game and then miss a fucking field goal. So if they want to get rid of him, get rid of him. That's the easy part. That's why this is so unbelievable. But the Ravens are cowards, starting with DaCosta and going down the Harbaugh. The absolute cowards, the way they're handled this situation. There's no other words to say it. There's no nice way to say it. There's no politically correct way to say it. Both of them said yesterday that they checked on Justin Tucker, that they reached out to Tucker privately because this is, paraphrasing, and probably a tough time for him. Let's see how he's doing. You guys have access to these three reporters, local reporters, who I'm telling you, there's a 0% chance you're going to watch this Le Batard show 20 minutes and be like, yeah, I don't know who I believe. There's a lot, I don't know. It's impossible unless you're a fucking fucked up person. And I'm sorry for all the language, but this really bothers me because we don't have to support anybody. Ravens, Orioles, Maryland basketball, the NFL. It's an escape from some of the bullshit that goes on in life. It's a microcosm of your own life. You get a chance to root for things that don't really matter. It's a part of being a part of a community, all these different things. You don't need the Ravens. Be totally fine if the Ravens pack up and go wherever they want to go. Just go somewhere else. That's not going to ruin anybody's life. And if you think that way, you got a huge problem with your life. And those are the people that are going to blindly defend Tucker or pretend like they don't have the bandwidth for 20 minutes to listen to these three reporters. It's an embarrassment. It's impossible to support a franchise that just doesn't care about people. And that's how I feel. I don't know if you want to try to convince me otherwise. I'm open to listen to it. There's no gray area in this situation. Here's the gray area, legal stuff. Okay, so I thought about that. Well, the Ravens, they don't want to release Tucker because it could be an issue with the players union and due process and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right. So let's imagine that let's imagine it was just 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. I'd be like, all right, let me think about that a little bit more because fine. Let me think about it. I know it's bullshit, but let me think about it. I don't have to think about this one. It's 2025. Tucker sucked. He wasn't good last year, and he makes too much money. So if you don't want to involve yourself or make a strong statement, if you're DaCosta and Harbaugh, about taking a stance on this particular situation, if you feel that there's going to be a legal issue with the players union and you want the NFL to do their investigation, then you know what? You just release him because he's not good anymore. And you do the bullshit where everybody knows that we released him because of this. But if you want to have a worded statement so that Tucker and his lawyers can't file some sort of grievance against you, fine. But we're not dealing with that. We're dealing with an overpaid, aging kicker who actually wasn't that good last year. So if the Ravens decided, I think most Ravens fans would have said before these allegations came out, if we were moving off of Justin Tucker, I, I'm not losing any sleep. I'm not. I mean, the way he behaved at the AFC Championship game, that was enough. That was enough for me to get rid of him. I said it at the time. I mean, I know he's an asshole off the field on a couple of incidents with fans, just being a dick. Like I've mentioned that. There's zero excuse. And Eric DeCosta, we'll start with him. He prides himself as being super efficient, very tactical, uh, arguably the smartest guy in the room, in almost every room that he walks in when it comes to NFL, salary cap, scouting, building a team. He's on the short list of the best personnel guys in the history of football. Like, check his resume. It's an amazing resume. He's got to grow up, man. He's got to look in the mirror and be like, let me take off the GM hat for a second. Like, what am I doing? It is, we have forgotten ourselves as being leaders of men, leaders of the community. That's what you are as the general manager. You don't just work for the Ravens. And if you want to live your life that way, then fuck you. Then just go be the general manager somewhere else. If your position in life is, yeah, well, it's not my call to have a statement on this, then you know what? That's just not the type of guy that I need to support. I don't need to watch the Ravens and support the Ravens. It's the same thing with Harbaugh. You want to call Tucker and check in on him? For what? That the truth came out? That's what we need to check in to see how his family and kids are doing? It's embarrassing. My fandom for the Ravens is pending the release of Justin Tucker. If not, then yeah, I would rather the Ravens lose every single game and everybody get fired and the team move somewhere else than sit here and root for a team that wants to have that guy on their team. It's a terrible message. And I guess my perspective is all about the youth and coaching. That's where my energy is. And I find it really frustrating when you can't deliver a message of professional teams doing the right thing. Like, this is an easy case. Don't be stupid. Don't overthink this. Don't worry about the lawyers. Just come out and say, we don't have, just like we're releasing them. If you don't want to mention everything else, that's fine. I somewhat understand having the NFL do an investigation. But you know what? Let's all just be honest with ourselves. If it wasn't Justin Tucker and it was Tucker Justin, the fourth offensive guard on the Ravens, he just would have been released. And they wouldn't have worried about potential grievances being followed. So do that with Tucker. He sucks at kicking the football. He's not the best kicker anymore, and he's overpaid. So you know what you do? You just release him, and you're done with it. And if you had any character, you would mention this in the release. But if nothing else, just get rid of them and be done with them so we can focus on things that are positive and happy about football. I really want to figure out who we're going to draft. I would love to figure out if they're going to add a receiver. But I refuse to be a supporter. You know, I can be mad at Rubenstein for not signing Burns and Santander and wanting a salary cap. Those are business things. Those are like, yeah, that's just being a fan and bitching for a minute. And then I'll watch the Orioles. It's not like I'm going to stop being a fan of the Orioles. But I will not support a team that feels this way about people. Because my conclusion on this, and then I'll be fucking done because this is out of character for me to even talk about this kind of stuff, but I felt compelled after listening to that interview yesterday. As I mentioned before, we're living, people that go to massage school and become massage therapists, usually we're athletes at some point. And in case anybody's not paying attention to the country, the economy, getting a well-paying job is not the easiest thing in the world. Right? And maintaining that job is not the easiest thing in the world. You are traumatizing and you are ruining. I mean, one of the masseuses left the profession because of this. You are ruining somebody's life because you can't control yourself. When we have unlimited porn for you to watch, when you have women that, I'm not condoning this, and I'm sure that they wish they would be potentially doing something else. But regardless, there's establishments where you can go to where the women are offering that service. And if that's what you need, Justin Tucker, if that's really what you need, go for it. Go for it. Like, that's one of those things, out of sight, out of mind. No one cares. I think most people just don't care. Everybody's got their own things going on in life. So if that's what you need to do, you need to go to the Robert Kraft massage parlor, go there. Like, go there where it's expected that you pay some sort of upsell fee to get what you need. You don't disrespect somebody who's working for a living by sexually harassing them and then being able to put out a statement to deny it because you walked right up to that line before they could charge you with harassment, probably charge of harassment, but with touching, right? Like, the only report was he had used his fingers to touch one of the girl's thighs. So he's such a it's worse, in my opinion, what he did than a one-off where somebody actually sexually assaults one person. Like, this is worse. This is, you are going to different massage places. You're trying to find vulnerable masseuses. And then you're doing everything you can to have that deniability. So she can't come out and say you did X, Y, and Z. Everything's like, you looked at her this way. You moved the sheet. Things for you to be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. That's how you took that? Oh my God. Like, fuck Justin Tucker. I hope somebody finds him and punches him right in the fucking face. I hope his wife leaves him. It is the most disrespectful thing you can do to somebody that is working, that has less power than you, and take advantage of them. There's no rationale for it. And if it was a one-off, or even if it was like 2 or 3 girls, I'd be willing to be like, all right, let's go to conspiracy theory. Are these girls friends? Do they want money? Let's go down the path here where Tucker's innocent. And that's basically what I've been doing for the past month or so in my head, not giving it too much attention. But is there any way that the Banner is just bullshitting here? And it's like, dude, look at what's happening. There's 16 complaints. Nobody wants any money from them. The Banner is not promoting themselves. It's not like they're all over the place trying to shove this story down everybody's throat. They've reported it, and then they're rolling along. Like, go read the Banner. Go on their Twitter pages. It's not all Justin Tucker all the time. They're moving on. They thought, and I think rightfully so, that the Ravens, when they brought it to DaCosta, that he would do something, that he would say something. Instead, they just passed the buck, and the NFL is going to do an investigation. It's embarrassing. I will go as far as to say that the Deshaun Watson situation doesn't even compare to this. The Deshaun Watson situation is, to me, not comparable to the Justin Tucker situation, because Deshaun Watson at least got the public where everybody is ridiculing him and agree that this is bad and all this jazz. But you also had the element where everybody's suing him. And then you had that Busby lawyer who's like an ambulance chaser. And there was a lot of folks that were like, is this a shakedown of Deshaun Watson? And that's why I say I don't even know the details of the Deshaun Watson. I just know that you could at least start to make arguments that maybe it's a sabotage situation. Maybe it has to do with money. I'm not saying that's what I believe, but I could at least understand and remember why there was people coming to that conclusion. There's nothing here. No one is gaining anything from this. One thought was the Ravens put this out because they don't want to pay Tucker. They want to get rid of him. I wish that was the case at this point, but that's not the case. As DaCosta and Tucker are checking on the well-being of Harbaugh and DaCosta are checking on Justin Tucker, the well-being of him. They think they can repair his image and sell a bunch of Justin Tucker bullshit for the next 30 years and put him in the Ring of Honor, and we all want to support that? No way. No way. And so I'm disappointed in them for sure. DaCosta's the best when it comes to building a team outside of the Philly people. But I don't care about that. Who cares? Like, that's just irrelevant. It really is when it comes to something like this. Everyone has family members. Everyone has women in their lives. If you think for a half a second that what these reporters laid out, that all these massage therapists exaggerated and that's not really what happened, some of them had a crush on Justin Tucker, if that's what the shit if you come to those conclusions respectfully, not only will I cancel your I'll refund anything you've ever sent me. I don't want you anywhere near me at all. I don't want you to listen to me. And I think you really need to question why your values in life. There is no room in almost every single issue. There's always the nuance. There's always, especially celebrities, sports, where you can be like the Luca trade. It's like, yeah, you just want to argue little things here and there and pick the contrarian side. Fine. There's some times where you just have to say, you know what? This isn't about the news media lying to me. This isn't a conspiracy. This is somebody who was in power, who took advantage of his power. And if he's sorry about it, if he's rehabilitated his life, then that would have been the statement. To not take accountability means you're gone. You're gone. You're out of my life, and I prefer you be gone from the Ravens. And if not, and you're going to stick around, then yeah, I'll start rooting for. Can't root for the Squealers. I can't root for the Clowns. Can't root for the Bungles. But I'll find team. That won't be hard. I can still watch football. I don't need to watch the Ravens. And if you think you need to watch the Ravens, then you also have a problem. So that's my take on it. I don't know how loud my voice is. I don't know if anybody will ever hear me, but I typically stay away from this kind of crap because there is nuance into it. And I don't think I would have said any of this stuff if I didn't listen to the reporters yesterday. If I just listened to Harbaugh and DaCosta, I would have had some thoughts. But after it's Julie Brina, I think is her name. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. And Justin, I forget their last names off the top of my head. All three of them went on the Le Batard show and explained their reporting. I don't see any way you could listen to those three yesterday and not come to the conclusion that Harbaugh and DaCosta and Bisciotti, the whole crew, should have a firm opinion that, you know what, while the investigation plays out, and if the investigation shows us something different, then we will consider welcoming Justin Tucker back to our organization in a different matter. But there's enough reporting, and after sitting down with these three reporters, we don't feel comfortable employing Justin Tucker as a Raven. And if you can't do that for legal reasons, like I said earlier, then just come out and say he fucking sucks. He can't kick it far anymore. He's overpaid, and I'm sick of his damn commercials. There's a lot of ways to get rid of Justin Tucker. I was kidding about the last parts, but he's an overpaid kicker. So that's what DaCosta should have done. There's no other way for it. I'll try to blast. It's just, it is what it is, what it is. So that's my take on everything. Feel free to comment, but I won't talk about him anymore unless the Ravens release him. And if they don't, then I'll denounce my Ravens fandom forever, and I'll just be totally fine. I'll just move on and figure out if Enrique Bradfield Jr. is going to be better than Adam Jones, because it's pretty good the other night. Yeah, so I hope everybody has a great day. And yeah, that's how I feel, and I wanted to get off my chest. Let's just treat people the right way. And if somebody does something wrong, it's okay to say you did something wrong, you're gone. Not everything requires such a long investigation and lawyers and all that shit. It just doesn't. So, all right, I'll put the YouTube clip up so you guys can watch it for yourselves if you hadn't already seen it. Maryland, Michigan State. I'm really sorry that I have Michigan State green on. I just realized, that's talk about a party foul. Jeez whiz. Let's go Maryland tonight. They are favored by 3 points, 3.5 some places. Game's at 6:30. Two things about the game being at 6:30. Great for us folks that don't stay up to midnight to watch the game, so that's good. These 9 o'clock games were tough. So I'm excited about that, but I wonder what the crowd's going to be like, because it's usually a late arriving crowd as it is for some of these games. The traffic is awful, and now you're in rush hour traffic. So hopefully the students will just camp out early. It should be a really fun environment. Kevin Willard has done a great job rebuilding the program. And then I think this is his first, somewhat of a celebration of the success. It should be a really, really awesome environment tonight, because Michigan State, their fans they'll have some fans there, and Michigan State is legit. I've been talking about them for a few weeks. We'll see how great that defense is going up against Maryland, because Maryland's been explosive. They got five guys that can put the ball on the floor and score. And Michigan State's not the biggest team in the world, but they're physical and they're a great rebounding team. Watch out for Derek Queen tonight. You're going to see some extra juice as he looks to improve his draft stock. Can't wait for this game tonight. Hopefully, we get a great environment. I'm probably not going to bet on the game because it's hard to bet against Izzo right this second, but should be a fun game nonetheless. Sorry about New Mexico yesterday. That was not fun. San Diego State they beat them. They did from start to finish. So got that one wrong. Is what it is. I should bounce back. If I have something tonight, I'll put it out there. And thank you guys for listening. And again, if you think I'm missing something, let me know. But I really don't think I am here. I think this is an open and shut case. And then last point before I go on Tucker, just so everyone understands that there's no bias here, the most amount of money I've ever made, the most amount of money I've ever made, one bet, Ravens money line. I've talked about this before, to beat the Broncos in the Mile High Miracle. For years after that field goal went in, everybody remembers the Mile High Miracle, but people forget that we had to go to overtime, and the Ravens got a stop. Or did they get an interception, actually? Gosh, I can't remember now. Get the interception, or is it just a 3-and-out? Anyway, Tucker makes the field goal to win the game in overtime. It was freezing. He was a rookie, and the ball barely went in there, and you couldn't tell me anything. I was the biggest Justin Tucker fan. Selfishly, I loved Justin Tucker. He was, oh my God, Tucker. The first time I turned on him was last year at the AFC Championship game, because I was like, it's such an ego thing to do. You're not going to hit Mahomes or Kelsey, so do you mind not firing them up? Like, do you mind? Like, that's a Roquan thing to do, not you. So it bothered me, but that's just football stuff. So I'd say this about Tucker. I'd say it about Lamar. I'd say it about any player, any human being. Say it about my own brother. If this is what I read, like, this is fucked up. There's no other way around it. Get him off the team so we can think about other things and get back to the Ravens, and he can just go fade into the sunset and rehabilitate his image. Ray Rice, I think, is the JV football coach of, is it Milford Mill? So, yeah, I mean, you make mistakes in life, you're allowed to be forgiven. But when you don't take accountability for it, then you're not going to get any sympathy over here or anywhere, frankly. So he needs to take accountability and then go donate to massage schools and apologize, and then it's over with. And you can go kick footballs somewhere else, not for the Ravens. All right, have a good day, guys. See you later.